I'm Asher Dart, and this is Books and Whatever Else. And my special guest today is the magnificent, very talented Carietta Dorsch.
Hello,
Yay.
I am Carietta Dorsch, a writer of many things, uh, as far as just genre goes. Published, not as much, but I'm working on it. Steady releases, ready for the future, so keep the lookout.
Mhm.
So yay.
Yay. I'm so happy for you to be on here. Um, how was your morning so far?
My morning has been fantastic. It has been fantastic. I have been up since 5 o'clock, as I do every morning, because I'm on conditioned grandma schedule. And I'm only 30, but I have the sleep schedule of an old lady.
Yeah, we call her
Uh,
the grandma of the group. She always goes to bed earlier than all of us.
in bed before 10, up by 5. That's what I do. That's my routine. I get up at 5, I have a cup of coffee, I start writing, and that's basically it. So
Awesome.
that's my thing. That is my bag.
My bag. So let's get into what was your first published book?
My first published book was a little novella called Unmarked Grave that Asher is holding in her hands.
Smells like a good book.
That is a book that I wrote by hand in an old composition book while I was sitting in prison. Uh, and I still have that very composition book put
That's
in a
fun.
folder.
That's awesome.
And so just imagine everyone that has the luxury of just typing your story for the first time. So I wrote that in composition book. And my first draft had so many scribbles and lines pointing, take this paragraph here. I can't copy and paste because I'm handwriting. It
Mhm.
looked like a mad scientist's demonic plans for world domination. And when I came, eventually was released last year in February 12th, 2023, I took it and started typing this handwritten uh, whatever the fuck it was.
How long did
I
it
lit
take you?
to type it. Oh, it took me a few months to be able to type it because one, my handwriting is not the best.
Same.
Uh, so I'm trying to read my own handwriting. I'm trying to follow all my arrows. Sometimes I wrote in the margin, so I had to like take the notebook and like flip it and then write and then flip it back. And it was like it was a steering wheel the entire time I was typing it. So it took a little while. And then, of course, as everyone else does, the editing process of doing that. So I think it came across the work I had to put into it, hopefully comes across when a reader reads it.
Mhm.
I wanted it to reflect what I was going through at the time. So I initially wrote that story in 2018 when I first started transitioning. And I've always been like a huge horror fan, but you never really see a lot of trans representation. And granted, the representation of trans in Unmarked Grave is subtle, but I think in itself is enough because it brings a new perspective, a new experience, a new voice into the horror story. Uh, Horror in itself is usually wrapped up in your tropes and your things people go out and go, but I think adding that subtle trans feel to it added a freshness to it. And I didn't want it to be like something that was just shoved down your throat because there are people that just don't agree or just don't know, or there are bigots of the world. So I wanted it to be something that was easily digestible even for those types of people. uh, something that could be universal in itself. Like someone who might be the unfortunate type of person that doesn't like trans people or doesn't agree with it, they could still read it and still maybe find enjoyment from it.
Mhm.
Uh,
I've
so
had a
that
lot
was
of people
my goal.
say, I've had a lot of people say that they were amazed that like this was a debut novel because of like how you wrote it. And, you know, I've read other things by you and I've been screaming at people like, you need to remember this girl. I'm telling you, because you need to remember her. She's going to be big. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for a couple of things that are coming up for you. But tell me about like
Yeah.
the funnest thing or your favorite thing that you have done so far, or maybe the book that is like,
Uh,
I love this book.
that one was fun to write, but well, it was and it wasn't because I was handwriting it in prison. So that was a shitty situation in itself. But one of the funner projects was my recent release that came out the 7th, the Mitchell County Stories. That was just fun to do because each story was a different style of horror. Each story in itself was from tame to psychological to
Mhm.
extreme to what the fuck am I reading to
To
having to go to
why?
therapy to having to go to therapy maybe after you finish it. Uh, I believe it was Christina Marie. She posted a video recently with her mom who read Scalped Soup out of the Mitchell
Oh
County, and
gosh.
she's holding her face and she's like, "What this to me?"
I seen that.
and
I seen that.
and it was hysterical. And so when you pick up the Mitchell counties, each story is just different. Each story is a different style of horror because horror in itself is so many subgenres.
Hmm.
So many different variations of how to get to that title of horror. So I wanted that to reflect in the collection. I wanted each story to be drastically different from the next. That way you never knew what to expect. It
Hmm.
opens up with a tame story, then it goes and it's like boom, a wallop in your
Yeah.
face. You're like, holy shit. And then you get another little light one, and then you get one that's like, oh my, why am I laughing? So what is wrong with me? Why am I laughing at this? Um, so the Mitchell County stories, that would be the one that I had the most fun writing so far.
Yeah.
That's released.
Yeah.
I have lots that's in the works that have release dates. They just haven't gotten around here yet, and
Yeah.
those were extremely fun to write. So
And I've read some of, I've actually read all of what you did for our splatter park shotguns and beer
oh
cans.
yes,
And that shit is fucking hilarious, but also like,
yes. I
I love you,
believe
you
Splatter
nasty bitch.
Park. I believe Splatter Park will turn some stomachs and make people stop reading in the middle of the stories.
Hmm. Hmm.
It will that is definitely something that I do not suggest eating while reading.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
especially even your stories there, you nasty, nasty Asher. Goodness. Ugh. But I'm excited for Splatter Park, and I've had the blast and the pleasure of working with you with it. So
Yes, yes. We have like really had some fun doing it. Taking them dang pictures was fun too. That was
the
fun.
solo cup, the
It's amazing when you like find people in the community like people like you like
yeah,
that we became like so close that we're family. And you meet these people and you're like, how did I go on with my life before without like having, you know what I'm saying, these
yes,
people in my world, where what was I doing? Like, you know, and it's just,
yeah,
I just love that little like bond and like family feel that, we have like that our group has, we love and support each other. We're there for each other. And I think that's like, that's important throughout the community. Like
Yes.
just the positivity and the love and just being there for everybody.
Yes.
And you
I
are
believe
probably
so
one of the
too.
nicest people ever in the world. If anybody fuck with you, I'd fuck them up. I'm just saying. Tell me about you
Well,
got
thank you.
I don't play when it comes to
Oh,
you.
goodness gracious. I try to be positive because the world is what I learned in prison, as well as just coming out after 12 years of prison into the world that I no longer do, is there's a lot of negativity in the world. Not saying that there wasn't 12 years ago before,
But
but
it
it just it there's a lot. So I try to do my part to, the people that I'm close with, to make sure I reach out every morning and just say, I hope
hmm
you have a great day. I'm sending positive thoughts and energy your way. And I try to always make a point to just spread that positivity, even if it's a silly meme that I post and it makes someone
hmm
giggle. It's not to feed my ego when I make a stupid post that has my book on it, but it's just to make you laugh, you know,
hmm hmm
and to make you like
some people
smile.
need that.
Yes, some people go throughout their whole day without that smile, but yet something will make them giggle and laugh, and they'll be like, "Wow, my day was just made off
Yep,
of that."
I
And
needed that. I needed that. Tell me
that's
about
really,
your pen pals.
oh, my pen pals.
Because that's something like an interesting like hobby that you do
uh,
besides writing.
I do. So I write to not famous, I write to infamous figures of history. So my pen pals the majority of them are serial killers. I write to several different ones. Some of them I won't mention their name just because, I don't want to like break that bond of trust that I've gained with them. Um, they are monsters. I never want to say that they're not, that they are. But I've always been drawn to the complexities of the darker side of human nature.
hmm
And my fascination with the minds of serial killers is just really a natural extension of that curiosity. And
hmm
just like so many before me and so many probably listening right now, I want to know what drives these people to do these unspeakable acts, whether or not they could have been stopped in some type of way before it ever got to that line. So I write them in a hope to gain a deeper understanding of their thought, their feelings, their perspectives of the world. I try not to do it where it seems like my ultimate goal is not to condone or justify their
hmm
crimes, but to comprehend them. And
Yes.
I think by offering that human connection, by offering that little bit of trust that I might give them through the correspondence, because you have to build some type of trusting relationship. I won't use the word friendship because it's hard to be a friend with someone that has done such atrocities, but
Mhm.
it's it is a bond of trust that you have to gain in order to get them to open up, to get them to talk, to get them to be, and I do it because I do have future projects lined up with some of these individuals that I will be releasing their life stories in their words that I've been working with them. And I'm very excited about that.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
I do that because even though they are monsters, I believe that their stories, in their own words, unfiltered, unedited through the dilution of journalistic jargon, is important
mhm,
because it may be an unpopular opinion, but I believe that a psychiatrist can only know so much. The
mhm,
psychiatrist is not going to be able to answer those questions like the person themselves.
mhm,
So when I write these people and I gain this trust, I'm like, tell me your story. Why? what drove you to this? What made you say, "Oh, this is what I want to do with my life"? What
Merger.
made you wake up? Yeah, what made you go wake up one morning and say, "Oh, you know what I want to be when I grow up"? So, so that's my goal. And in the future, be on the lookout. I have more than one of these pen pals who are more than willing to share their story in their own words. So that's coming in the future. So,
All right, so let's talk about a little bit about like your first I mean your favorite book, the one that I'm reading now.
ooh, my favorite book is
Mhm.
a little book called Little Boy Blue by Edward Bunker. Now, Edward Bunker, if no one knows him, go read him because he's just awesome. He also played Mr. Blue in Reservoir Dogs for those Tarantino fans out there. And he is a big reason that Danny Trejo has ever been in a movie ever because they were friends in prison and Bunker was able to get him his first gig. So, uh, Little Boy Blue is a powerful novel. It is an unflinching portrait of the harsh realities of prison life, the criminal justice system, how it screws you, the personal struggles of like self redemption, of like how you're gonna like, I just went through this, how am I going to overcome it type thing. It's unvarnished writing style. And the fact that Bunker himself is a former felon, the fact that he was a former criminal, and he overcame it
Mhm.
and he pushed forward and proved that he wasn't that label. He proved that he was deep down a good person, and that it gives people like me hope as a former felon myself
Yep.
that you are not your felony.
Mhm.
Just like you are not your addiction, you are not your mental illness, you are not that you are and can be way more than just that label.
Yep. Yep. You damn right.
And
So
he proves it. So, and Bunker is just awesome. So just go read Bunker.
so what have you always wanted to write? Was that something that you always wanted to do, or was it what inspired you, or was it being locked up that inspired you to write?
Well, so when I was littler, when I was a little, wee little girl, uh, in school, I used to write all the time. And I would
Mhm.
get in trouble for writing in class. Sometimes I even got in school suspension because I was writing stories in class. And a lot of times my teachers would say it wasn't that I was writing, but the content of my writing, because they would say it was violent or vile or, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Or here's the guidance counselor. How are you feeling today? And it's something I always really enjoyed. My first book I ever read completely outside of just like children literature when you're in school was Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen, her memoir, which is based off the movie with Angelina Jolie, Winona Ryder. And it really got me like like, wow, I want to write. Because it was just really cool and I really loved it. And the writing style is not for everyone because it's a non-linear bounces back and forth kind of shit. And when you're reading it, you're like, wow, what's the timeline? So, but it was just really cool. And after getting in trouble for a while and growing up, it was like when I got in trouble, I would get in trouble at home too. I kind of just stopped writing. I was like, yeah, I got enough. I'm sorry. You win. So, and then I went to prison. And
Mhm.
then after in prison, I was reading everything I could get a hold of because that's how you escaped. But eventually, in some camps that you go to, the library is only so big. And it
Yeah,
is possible to read that entire library
several
because
times.
they are that small.
Mhm.
So I had gotten to that point. 12 years is a long time to just sit there and read. Uh, so after a few years, where I was, I had literally read everything. I'm just like, well, fuck. So after so many years of not writing, I picked it back up because I needed something to read. And if I didn't have anything to read to escape, then I was like, well, I'm going to write my own book.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Unmarked Grave was that one book I wrote to keep me. So I wrote Unmarked Grave in prison. I wrote a book coming out later this year that's actually a coming of age romance I wrote in prison. My collection of poetry I had released, Cannibalistic Loneliness, also written in prison. So, I had a lot of time on my hands, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, you got some amazing work out of it.
Thank
I
you.
keep grabbing the book and touching it. Like,
Ooh.
okay, so tell me, let's see, some interesting things about you, like some weird fact. Stuart had the toilet thing. Like I got the drink thing,
Uh, I
or
don't like
something that
sticky things. I don't like sticky things on my hands.
you.
Like I'm weird. And it's because I handle a lot of I'm a physical media type of person. So streaming is okay. I love streaming,
Push.
but I'm a physical media. I like to collect the movies. I like to go to thrift shops and flea markets and little stores and try to find movies. And so I have a lot of discs and DVDs and having sticky stuff on my hands. I'm like, I don't want to mess it up. And then these correspondences with pen pals, I try not to mess up their letters. And yeah, I don't like sticky things on my hands. Also, I'm kind of not kind of, I'm extremely OCD. Like, so that's another weird fact about me. So I'll like turn off the light and I'll leave the room, but like getting 2 paces out the room, I'll come back to check the room to make sure I turn the light off. And then I'll leave again and then come back and check again to make sure I turned everything off. Like super odd, I know, but that's one of my little quirks.
I understand this. Hope my dog is being silly during recording. Say, Belle, hey, girl, hey, get over here. Sit your butt down. Sit down. Be good girl. Be quiet. No.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. I was gonna say I can't stand lotion or sticky stuff on my hands either. Like I got to,
I don't like sticky stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I can't stand it. Like I
Yeah.
can't stand it. Well,
Nope.
let's see. We're probably gonna wrap this up.
Oh,
Um,
wrap it up like a Christmas present.
is there anything else you want to add to people or tell anybody or
Well, anyone who's listening, I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope that you feel the positivity that I am just pouring forth to everyone all the time. And I hope that somehow by watching this, you gained a giggle, a smile, a feel good, warm, fuzzy, whatever you want to call it. You know, just, yeah, yeah. Hello. And make sure that today you tell someone that you like them or that you love them or that, hey, I hope you're doing good, whatever the case may be. So that's all. Yeah, little heart.
I was trying to do it. I don't know how to do it.
It's a little
My
heart.
fingers won't heart.
Yes, a little heart. Throw up your sign, your heart sign.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, of
I'm
course.
definitely about to
Thank
talk
you.
to you after this. I'm gonna go ahead and I appreciate everybody coming and talking with us. It's a little chaotic this time, animals, family, whatever. She's growling at my brother. He keeps like rolling by the window, rolling by because he's in a wheelchair. He just keeps. She's like, pet me, pet me. But thanks for coming. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Be quiet. Bye.